welcome to part 2 of the granny square necktie. Today the video is going to show you how you can turn the necktie into a button, and I'm going to show you how you actually can do that as best I can. So the supplies you're going to need is, of course, you're going to need your 3 granny squares, a measuring tape, a tapestry, your scissors. You're still going to use the 7.45 millimeter, just like we did. You're also going to need buttons. Now these buttons are a variety of sizes, and I got them at Hobby Lobby a while back, and they just have different sizes. I'm just going to use white. You can use whatever you want. You're also going to need to sew on the button is a needle that will go through your chosen button. I believe these ones are like for plastic canvas. They have a wide eye and they're still blunt like a tapestry, and that one will work. And you'll also need some kind of sewing yarn. I got this at Joann's. It's the size 5. I forgot what it's called. It's that where all the threads are, but it's the size 5. And of course the yarn that you want for your granny squares. Okay, so go get your supplies and I will catch you right back. Alrighty, I just recorded all that and I did push record. All right, here we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the loop. Get that slip stitch. And I'm going to go in the side here, and I'm going to put my hook in front to back. Grab my yarn and pull it up. I've got my 2 loops. I'm going to yarn over and go through both. I did a single crochet join. For this button, the 3/4 inch button, a chain 4 fits the button well. If you use a bigger button, you're probably gonna have to do more chains, but you can, before we move on, we can measure and make sure. So there's a single crochet, and we're gonna chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm just gonna slip stitch back into that space that I was just joined into. Now before we move on, this is where you would measure your button. Okay. And then as normal, we're just going to single crochet on top of each half double crochet across. Now we're at the corner, and I'm going to do a single crochet in the chain 1, and then just work my way around. And we'll meet up when we get to this corner to join. Here's my single crochet into that chain 1 space. Now to join another single crochet, get my yarn up here, here's my working one, here's where I'm going. I'm going to put the new one behind. Okay, I'm going to find my chain 1 space. Okay, my finger knows, and then I'm going to go from top straight back, and then I'm going to grab the yarn and pull it up, and then you will yarn over and go through both. Now we're joined. Okay, just make sure that your new granny is underneath, and then you would go from front to back to grab the yarn. And we'll slow down again when we get to the next granny. New granny behind old granny. Find my chain 1 space, from front to back, and then I'm going to grab my yarn and pull it up. 2 loops, yarn over, and go through both. Now my third granny is joined. Now let's get around to the side so we can start making our, what is that called? That band. All right, I'm in the side now. And this is where we're going to make our band. So this is where we're going to have to slow it down so I can show you how to do this. Like a lot of Chihuahuas have like about a 12-inch neck, you know, maybe a little bit shorter or whatever. So that's what this one is fitting. But say you have a 14-inch neck, okay? The way you do it is first let's single crochet into our chain 1 space on the side. Now, about with this hook and my tension, averagely, we're going to chain up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's put that down and let's zoom in. Okay. Chain 4. Chain 4 is approximately is close to an inch. Okay. So if you say, I kind of have a little bit loose tension, not super tight, not super loose, the crochet hook will make a difference on how many chains as well. But with this 7 hook, about 3 to 4 stitches, chains, will make an inch. So if this thing right now, if they're averaging about 7 inches, not including the tag there, okay, it's about 7 inches, right? You would need the difference from 7 to 14. So we need about 7 inches. We need to add 7 inches. Okay. For the small Chihuahua size, this was 7 inches. I added 5 inches. Okay. So there's the math right there. So here's 1 inch. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 2 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 inches. Let's see how close that is. This is where measuring really comes into play. I don't know why my yarn is not cooperating. All right. I also know that this is going to stretch. So I'm going to call that good because I technically did the stitches that I needed. And I think it'll work out. So now I'm just going to single crochet back down. I'm not even counting stitches. This is where the measure as you go kind of comes into play. If you're needing specific measurements for your pet, this is the best I've got right now. And now that I'm back down at the bottom, I'm going to slip stitch into that chain 1 space that we started. So let's see what's going on here. It's hard to do because this thing isn't all the way together. Okay, we already know that's 7 inches. This is what we're curious about. And 7 inches. Turns out. So now what I'm going to do is, like for this one, I did 4 rows to make the button fit. If you have a bigger button, you might need to add a couple more rows. So I'm just going to, I slip stitched at the base. I'm just going to turn it. You can chain one if you want, just to give you some leverage here. And then we're just going to single crochet back up, chain one, and single crochet back down. Okay, coming back down, we're stitching here. And again, I'm going to slip stitch into that chain one space. Okay. And before I go on, I'll make sure that my button fits. And it does. Let's just take a look here. I mean, if you didn't care, this is a bigger one. What size are you? This is the 1 inch. You know, really that 1 inch would fit on here decently. And now we're just going to finish this up like we have already done. Just going all the way around and doing a single crochet in the chain one. I'm not going to spend too much time since I already did a video on it. And chain one space, join the next one, which is already kind of there. It's next to each other, but you're still going to go from front to back. And then I will meet you at the end and we will finish this up, do a little bit more talking. Okay, my video just cut off in the middle of all of this, but let me just tell you what I did. I just sewed this on, is all I did. Is I got my tapestry, my little needle. It's plastic canvas, and I got my cotton thing, and I just came from the back up, and I just did a crisscross thing. I did that a couple times and then just knotted it off. And you can use like fabric fusion or tacky glue, frame me not, whatever it's called, and then get that on there. Okay. And so that is really the secret to it. Your hook size, your tension really will play a difference as to how many chains you can do. But depending on if you needed to just test it out, you can always just take your hook and then do some chains first. And then you have your tension or whatever, and then you can measure that to see if it's going to come out to be 1 inch. Okay, that's one way. So averagely, you would say 3 to 4 chains could equal 1 inch. So these measure 7 inches. And then, of course, for this hook and my tension, it came to 4 chains. And then I just counted to 4 chains is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I got my 7 inches. So if you need more inches, you can add more chains. And so there you go on that. And I also wanted to briefly show you, because I didn't do it in the actual tutorial, I didn't even think about it, but on the one with the tie, and then you just slip it in there, and then depending on how much you need to pull, and then you just grab them and you just tie a little square knot loosely. Okay, and that's how you do that. You just slip it in there. You could probably even do it the top down if you wanted. It doesn't matter, probably the direction. And then you're just tying a knot. Just one little square knot. And I like to do it that way because it's just easy to come undone. Okay? And there you go. Hopefully I've answered some of your questions. I've been going through the comments and I've been trying to listen to what you're saying. So this is at least one stop. I do want to do another bandana with the button, but at least you have something, and you have a basic guide of how you can add rows so that you can get the right dimension. Now for these larger dogs like Harley, this isn't going to work unless I want a long, tail. So I would probably have to, for his 16-inch neck, probably have to add another square or two, and then measure that, and then figure out how many chains I need to do for a tie. Just depends on how far around the neck you want it to go. Okay? All right. So here we are. We're going to conclude part 2 of the granny necktie. Thanks so much. I'll talk to you later. Bye.